In each of the figures below, decide if the two triangles listed are congruent. If they are, create a flowchart proof justifying your conclusion. If they're not, explain why not. So the first one, it feels like there's certainly enough information because I can see that I've got a pair of congruent angles, angle BCA and on the other side angle DCE are congruent. They're congruent because they're vertical angles. And then I've got a couple pairs of congruent sides, right? BC is congruent to DC and AB is congruent to ED. The problem that we have is that those are fitting the angle side-side pattern. And the reason why that's problematic, I think I can show this. Let me pull up a different, let me use the Windows, it's called Snip and Sketch. The reason why I like it is it has a protractor tool. So let me grab this protractor. And if you can imagine, I'm going to line this up right here so that my protractor is set to be the size of segment AB. So if you look at this right now, it needs to be a little bit bigger. I hope that's pretty close. There you go. So if you look at that, I'm going to draw this arc. And let me get just a fairly, oops. Oh, that's the wrong tool. Go back to, I got to get the right pen. So this pen, and I want it to be fairly skinny. So if I draw this arc along here, right, now I'll move this thing off to the side. What I want you to observe is that there is this one point right here. And if you look at that point, because those are both arcs, radiuses of the same circle rather, in fact, let me grab the ruler tool now and draw that there. So I'll bring this over here, line that up back to there and draw this. And I'll just draw this, draw this segment there. Yeah, if you look at that, these two arcs are congruent to each other. And the significance of this is that I've just demonstrated that that triangle with the one it was given that we had this angle, we had this side congruent, and we had this side right here. Well, that information in that order actually gives rise to two different triangles, right? We've got the triangle ABC that you see from the original problem, and then also inside of it is this little triangle right here. And this triangle, go all the way, yeah. This triangle right here is clearly different than the other one. So whenever we see that angle side-side pattern, we have to remember that even though it's three pieces of information, and it certainly feels like they should be congruent, right? It gives rise to two different triangles. And if you could imagine on one side you could have this triangle, like for example, if A was really at this location, you could have this triangle ABC, and that's clearly visually different from the triangle on the other side. But just remember the information that they give you, right, gives rise to those two different triangles. So that's why angle side side is not a triangle congruence condition. Okay, let's go back to our notebook. So the other triangles that they give us are these, and it tells me that triangle DGB is isosceles. Now the thing that I don't like about that is I'm not sure exactly which ones of the sides are congruent. I would infer that these are the congruent sides, right? I'm just going to say, hey, if it's isosceles, those little tiny segments are congruent to each other. So is there enough information here to get these triangles to be congruent to each other? Actually, I'm thinking not. I mean, the fact that that's an isosceles triangle, and this looks awful, by the way. That was the wrong pen for that. This, and this. The fact that it's isosceles, right, is going to allow me to conclude that, oh, geez, I've got all these pens that are set that are to not be fine tipped. Like this angle right here and this angle, I could get those are congruent. But at the end of the day, what do I have there? I've got angle, 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 right? I don't have any sides that are congruent. And honestly, I could draw this. Yeah, actually, just thinking about it, if I was to grab this ruler tool right here, And I could draw this parallel line right there. Nice. Well, because these lines are parallel, I know that this angle and this angle would match, and I know that these would both be right angles. So the problem I'm having is I just really only have angle, 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 right? I can talk about GD being congruent to GB, but that's not really a side in the whole triangle. So because, you know, like I just demonstrated with the blue, they could be different sides. These are not. There's not enough information here for me to conclude that those are congruent triangles. So both of them have fairly sophisticated reasons why they're not. But at least we don't have to write the flowchart proof, right? That's a good thing.